I just want to apologise because this is now recording to an empty audience. Unfortunately, my PC went down, and when it came back up, it just wouldn't let me connect my mic or my camera. So I've had to source this laptop, and I'm just going to record based on the questions that were asked pre-event. So I would just like to say, anyone that's watching this is a recording of Office Hours Ask Me Anything for ABM one-to-one strategy. And this would cover typically me talking through some of the salient parts of Tuesday's event. And instead, I'm going to just answer the questions that have been dropped into the registration. So what the first question was, you want to understand how it works and how it can be utilized. So ABM one-to-one is really a highly targeted account-based approach to trying to land or expand a client or a prospect. So a lot of people talk about one-to-one ABM in terms of, are we able to, like, what can we do? And the answer really is, it's personalized depending on vertical, client type, channels that you usually see activity in. But ultimately, if you just start at the top, you're going to identify the 10 clients or 10 prospects, should I say 10 accounts that you're hoping to close based on whatever financial figures you're looking at, whether it's lifetime value, revenue per contract, whatever that metric is that governs why this is a one-to-one account. You'll understand that more than me. I mean, the other option is that it's not even revenue driven, it's just label driven. You've got a product, you want to sell it, and there's like 10 large software companies or 10 large brand logos that you would love to see on your website, which you believe would help you attract more business. So revenue driven, brand driven, whichever the approach, typically clients are going to, typically you as a business would want to be spending a lot more of your revenue to close these types of accounts. So it's not inbound. It's not inbound at a business. It's not a persona-led approach. You are considering a business and the buying committee. So the people that typically are involved in the decision-making process in working with a product or service like you may offer. And then you would do the research, which would probably be the ICP research, company research, personnel research, and start to understand what it is that these companies are looking for and how you can solve it. Now, the obvious thing is to reverse engineer. We offer this, we believe it's a good fit. And that's going to be the premise of what you do. But then there's the why. Why do you and why not someone else? Do you know enough about your competition realistically to understand why you're differentiated from them, truly differentiated, and how your differentiation to start building communication, right? Because you're ideally focusing on this business and what's important to them and how you're important to them. And you can have 10 companies in the same vertical, but realistically, the reasons why each would buy you can be slightly different. So you're diving into, what does the CMO need? What does the CFO need? What does the head of ESG need? What, like, whoever makes up that buying committee, who would be your champion? Who's going to be your blocker? Who's going to be your financial decision maker? Who's going to sign off? Do I talk to procurement? Do legal get involved? All of these things that you need to know, they're the things that kind of come together to understand how you're going to start building your approach. And from there, it's actually about building a personalized outreach program. Now, typically, you might do some research against where this particular target company sits amongst its peers, how they're differentiated, show that you understand them, and then how that would lead into how what you do would help them get more business, right? Because ultimately, you're either going to save them time or you're going to increase revenue for them. I mean, they're the reasons people are buying products and services. So once you've established that is okay, but what about that is important to each one of those people I mentioned, or in your own case, your own buying committee, which which aspects of the product do they need to know? Not everyone needs the same thing, so it's not a one deck for all approach. Do you then go away and build a load of digital assets, content assets, microsites, landing pages with that company's logo, that company's branding, that company's head office, whatever it is that helps them feel like this whole campaign is solely about them, that they recognize themselves in it to the nth degree? That is what you're going to do. But remember, for some of these enterprise deals, closing that account could take months, years. These are realistic things. Some accounts have like 18-month, 2-year cycles. If you think about MSPs, some of those are like 4-year contracts. So it's once every 4 years, this contract comes up for grabs again. So it's understanding the value of the organization you're targeting to you and your business monetarily, or maybe around your brand exposure. So once you understood those kind of that kind of impact to you, you can make the financial decisions about how much you're willing to invest into a product or service like the one that you're trying to offer those people. And actually, we've got an ABM 101 book, and it dives into this in far more detail. It actually gives you like a stage by stage, week by week breakdown of what you could do for one-to-one, one-to-few, one-to-many. And so rather than me sit here and repeat that and paraphrase it, it would be much easier to actually go to our website on the which is biasdigital.com. Go to the ABM page. I'll post the link in the comments below, but make sure that you go and download that asset. Now, I just want to be really, really clear with how we operate at Bias. You will not be asked for your details up front. So the deck's going to be open. You'll be able to go through it. You'll be able to read it, find out if it's got the right value for what you want. And if you then want to take that away, obviously, we're an agency. We're trying to, generate our own business here. So I just want to be transparent that we want you to have the value and only download it if you feel there is value. And so I hope that answers that question. So Mr. HubSpot employee. Okay, what are the most effective ways to target those with high intent? So if you've got an ABM one-to-one account list, top 10 accounts that you wanna close, and those accounts are showing like high intent, I think immediately you want to engage them in a sales conversation. I think that from our perspective anyway, as a service business, we definitely would go down the route of trying to establish cause and effect, right? If you assume that every person that speaks to you knows that they have a problem, what that problem is, your job is really to dive into how that problem arose and how your product or service can potentially solve that. So we definitely like the consultative sell in this situation. You're trying to engage that person. If they have high intent, what's the intent around? What sort of keywords? There's plenty of data around intent which you can use. We use Rollworks. Rollworks has their own intent engine. They have the Bombora intent engine. We can see what that account or people from that account, i.e. the company, has been searching for, what articles they've been reading. If you've got all that intent in front of you, the personalization and the outreach should be very, very simple. I mean, it shouldn't be a question for us. It should be actually how do we take this intent, understand what these guys are looking at, what's been searched, what articles they've been reading, what's the context of those articles. Can I learn from reading those articles myself where their problems might be, and start maybe looking for trends within those articles? Well, what's the common theme? How do they thread together? Are they really high level? Are they specifically focused on a particular area? And then again, tying that back to how you can help them. So it's very transparent in one-to-one if you have intent data. If you have one-to-few or one-to-many, intent data can be pretty broad. You know, if someone's just looking for ABM agency, excuse me, it's easy enough for me to reach out and say, hi, we're an ABM agency. I've looked at your website. It looks like with the kind of customers you're trying to land, the account-based marketing could be a strategy you guys could employ. Is that something that you're currently thinking about? And if so, can I share a resource? I mean, that's probably the easiest way to open up that conversation. And then just anticipate that person will likely, if interested, either look at the article or the asset that you attach to that email, and more importantly, probably come back to your website and do some exploration. So, you know, again, if it's one-to-one, I might already have a landing page set up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build like a microsite, set that up for that particular company, look at what assets I have, what I haven't, create the assets that fill the gap, and present them with an option that kind of comprehensively covers what we can see from that trend data, and also from the intent data. And then you have to start learning. You know, it's like any other part of marketing. You still have to analyze the data, look at what's being digested, what's being interacted. Do they bounce from that microsite or landing page into the main website? Are they downloading your assets? Do you have pre-recorded content? All of that type of stuff. That's what you're really trying to address and measure. And so what you should do over time is be able to learn what's more important to the customer. And that's what this is all about, is what's important to the customer, and how do we as business owners or software companies or agencies facilitate the further education of those people, and how do we tie in those products or services that we want to learn. And I'm really sorry that we had that lengthy start. Unfortunately, if I could take a photo of my desktop, it actually is just sitting on the open screen saying you can moderate, but you can't present because your microphone and camera can't connect. So this was a very short AMA. I'm sorry that we weren't able to kind of capture the audience in play, but please do join us. Feel free to come back and see us next week. We have one-to-few and then one-to-few AMAs, and then we have one-to-many and one-to-many AMAs, and that will conclude the ABM series for April. Thanks for watching, and apologies again for not being able to get us started on time.